This is Air Force 2 TV, beauty within perfection. Hello and welcome to the program series on Air Force 2 TV. This is where we look at a series of stories with local, national and international interest. Coming up.
That military intervention in Niger is a self-destruct battle to destroy West Africa and all the riches in West Africa to be wasted away by our own destruction.
2012 and 2016 Ghanaian independent presidential candidate Jacob Osei-Yaboah will later share more on ECOWAS' decision to militarily use force to restore President Mohamed Bazoum in Niger. Another Ghanaian to add his voice to this call is investigative journalist Kwaku.
Well, as a political analyst and of course also a student of security and intelligence, the question comes as to whether or not this is ending anytime soon or just the beginning of the struggle. My answer is yes, this is just the beginning.
Details coming up. This is the series. Welcome to the main stories. My name is Enoch Ejo. Today we begin with an editorial from our podcast desk. I read, one thing that seems to be trending now is the series of coups happening in some African states, specifically the West African bloc, with the recent one being Niger. ECOWAS has always issued a statement and condemned the act. The question is, what did they do to avert the economic conditions of these countries? Also, when Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast and Alpha Condé of Guinea changed their constitutions to prolong their stay in power, what did ECOWAS do about it? In as much as we condemn coups, what exactly can ECOWAS do to avert these unfortunate events in future? Because we expect ECOWAS to protect their own. To assuming a member state is toppled by a coup, aside issuing a statement, no action can be done to protect their citizens and their leaders. Well, ECOWAS must tell us their true purpose. Another area of interest is the motive behind these coups. Most coup plotters always engage in such acts with reasons like corruption allegations and abuse of power. The interesting thing is, when they get to power, they do worse. So then, what is the way forward? As a continent, we need military discipline, our own democracy, and not a Western form of democracy or military government. There are schools of thought that will tell you that Western democracy promotes corruption more than any other system of government, because some elected leaders believe once they are elected into office until the next election, they are untouchable. As a result, they become too comfortable to embezzle state funds. Again, we believe state institutions must be made autonomous. That way they can easily check all and sundry, devoid of power and size. An editorial put together by our team. This is the series on Air Force 2 TV. Now to our first story. Ghanaian independent presidential candidate Jacob Osei-Yaboah has said ECOWAS' decision to militarily restore President Mohamed Bazoum in Niger is a self-destruct button to destroy the West African state and their riches. He made this known when he was speaking to Air Force 2 TV.
That military intervention in Niger is a self-destruct button to destroy West Africa and all the riches in West Africa to be wasted away by our own destruction. And I think that the leaders of ECOWAS should first and foremost answer the question, is there no cause for the military interventions in the nations across West Africa? Is there no cause they must first answer that question. That is there the cause? When we talk about democracy, democracy is the rule of the people, the rule of the people. And democracy is not only about elections alone, but the rule of the people. And so if the people elected you as their president, and when you have power, you begin to act at variance to the principles and the aspiration of the people who voted for you, to the extent that they will have a desire for military rule, is a total failure on behalf of these presidents. Is there no cause why these countries are yielding to military rule, military dictatorship, as against civilian dictatorship?
He further added, Africa is not a testing ground for Russia and NATO.
We don't want the West African land to be the land where the NATO and Russia will be testing their old ammunitions on our soil. And at the end of the day, they will plunder the riches within West Africa. That is the goal. Tinubu in Nigeria cannot take this decision and say that as a head of ECOWAS, they are intervening. When all the things that all the civilians, presidents in this nation have been doing, ECOWAS could not intervene. I mean, what kind of leaders have we elected for ourselves? And that is why I say that multi-party democracy is oxymoron. It's the highest deception ever. It's something that has deceived the world, polarized nation for only a few people to be enjoying, and we all look on and become enslaved to our own kind in our own nation. Such stupidity should not go on. But anything that will affect my life and the life of my children, I have every right to voice up. And I'm saying, and I'm telling Nanado, don't plague Ghana into this proxy war between NATO and Russia. And don't take sides to serve as stooges to NATO. This decision of the West African leaders wanting to attack Niger is nothing but the enslaved leadership mindset of stooges of NATO. Enough is enough.
Independent presidential candidate Jacob Osei speaking to Force 2 TV. Another Ghanaian to also add his voice to this call on ECOWAS is the investigative and political journalist Kwaku, who believes with the recent reaction by Mali and Burkina Faso, it appears that AU and ECOWAS are losing their political and economic role in protecting member states.
I think that we are losing that grip. And for that matter, the entire group, both AU and the ECOWAS, are losing their fundamental political role and economic role. Why? Because it's also made up of peers among them. So it does appear that there's little respect for the coalition. There's little respect for the coalition. And it is also because the elements of the ECOWAS is also a remnant of the subset of the political offshoot of these nations making ECOWAS and AU. And I hope you do understand this. They are the remnants. So sometimes when they go round table and they want to discuss things, the question comes, who are you to come and advise us on this and that and that? Now, there's current military coup in Niger. And yesterday, when I was watching international wires, precisely BBC, then I saw heads of security, top security, in that format, top security officers in West Africa converged somewhere, and they are discussing the military coup in Niger. The question is, why would these military officers, what do you call it, security chiefs, would converge, and then what will be their roadmap? Is it a roadmap to restoring peace? Is it a roadmap to ensuring that a proper democracy comes in? But then again, some of these security chiefs, go back and check their background. The countries in which they come from have already been toppled by military coups, but they were there as security chiefs. The question is, what did they do before those coups took off? What happened? What kind of security and intelligence analysis were they giving to their presidents? And so their presidents were toppled. You see, it's like, what's the word? There's this proverb that goes like a peg in a round hole, or some sort of a square pegs in a round hole. What can you make with it? You can't make anything out of this. So ECOWAS has lost its value. ECOWAS has lost the full grip, to the extent that, top military chiefs in Mali, Burkina Faso, and other places would warn heads of ECOWAS chiefs and tell them this, that. It tells you that ECOWAS no longer bites.
The coup junta in Niger brings to 5 the number of coups that have occurred within the last 3 years in West Africa. There are those who believe it is a wake-up call to all African leaders. One of such is Kwaku, who believes the proliferation of coups in the West African bloc is just the beginning if proper structures are not put in place.
It was there some years back, and then when the Western world began to, as it were, making their footprints in Africa, then it became like, oh, it's slowing down. But even with that, when the Western world, made their footprint, their footprint was also not as to, whether they have come into, as it were, persuade us to embrace democracy. It was for them to do that also to gain a certain political expediency, use this as a caveat, and then create a way out. And then after that, they jumped onto our resources, our mineral deposit, and then they'd lick it out. So if you take, a country like Congo, Dr. Congo, if you read the history of what has happened in Congo, the Western world's footprints in there was obviously to see to whether, hey, we're going to bring you guys peace. We are here to establish peace process. But before we realize, the Western world have perched their camp on one side of the warmongers. And so long as the perch come, what you see next is that then they begin to flow in arms and weapons to one side. And then as they grow up, they gain that preponderance. Then all that you hear is rebels fighting government forces and what have you. In between this struggle, what we see time and time is that the fight becomes so much intensified, or they intensify the fight so much that in and around this, the Western world also have their emissaries doing the peace process arrangements and all of that. Whilst doing this, then they siphon our resources out of the country. Many times they will bring their economic hitmen to create economic recession, and then they take what they have to take and then they go. So that question as to whether this would end anytime soon. I guess not. It's not going to end anytime soon.
Since the Niger coup, a video that has gone viral on social media shows the man believed to be the finance minister of Niger, who is seen on camera crying because he was given 48 hours to account for his stewardship. According to some online publications, the said individual in the video crying is the former Minister of Justice in Niger, who at the time of the video was emotionally responding to his new appointment as the ambassador to Ethiopia. The question then is, who is he and who is the current Minister of Finance in Niger? Watch this. This is the series on Evostu TV. Thanks for joining us. This is the series on Evostu TV. Let's go to the world of marketing. Beta Corporation Limited is a technology company that seeks to provide professional services when it comes to building of apps, websites for companies and individuals. That is a company to follow on. They can also assist you in the following: tracking app for vehicles, installation of CCTV cameras, and also procuring of laptops and more. Call Beta Corporation on the following numbers: 0542 978514 or 050-050-714871. I take that number again: 0505-714871. Beta Corporation is an empire of greatness. If you love your healthy food like me, from local to continental dishes, then allow me to take you to the paradise of Elsa Healthy Dishes. They have the very best of dishes: traditional fried rice made from herbs, special continental dishes as well. We also serve breakfast and more. Remember, Elsa Healthy Dishes have the best natural fruit juice. And if you love your salad in a very special way, then that is the place to go. With Elsa Healthy Dishes, everything is natural. Locate them at STL Building, adjacent Lower Prayer Bank, Interparty, or call them for special delivery on 0244 66 3860, and they will be there to serve you. So whenever you visit Ghana, make sure to visit Elsa Healthy Dishes in the Western region by calling the above number. After COVID-19, what next? Your health is your power. In this era where we eat everything, how safe are we? To control your BP, your sugar level, also to avoid kidney, liver problems and more, get a drop of Aquasavio. Aquasavio is a water disinfectant product that cleans your body system against diseases. With this product, you will discover a lot of things about your body system. It is a savior. You can also read more about Aquasavio online. For pictures, kindly call Calvin on 0240 455553 or McKay on 0542 978514. Aquasavio is a mineral for life. My name is Enoch Ijo. Thanks for watching this series. Join us next time. And it's bye for now.
This is Air Force 2 TV, beauty within perfection.